Elsie, what's the matter? Elsie!
So, Watson. You do not propose to invest in South African securities?
How on earth do you know that?
Now confess, you are utterly taken aback.
I am.
I should make you sign a paper to that effect.
Why?
Because in a few minutes you'll say it is all so absurdly simple.
I should say nothing of the kind.
You see, my dear Watson, it is not really difficult to construct a series of inferences, each dependent upon its predecessor and each simple in itself. If after doing so one simply knocks out the central inferences and presents one's audience with the starting point and the conclusion, one may produce a startling, though possibly a meretricious effect. I can tell by an inspection of the groove between your left forefinger and thumb that you've decided not to invest your small capital in the goldfields.
I can see no connection.
Very likely not. But I can quickly give you a close connection. Here are the missing links in the very simple chain. You had chalk between your forefinger and thumb when you returned from the club last night. You put chalk there when you play billiards to ease the cue. You never play billiards except with Thurston. Now, Thurston, you told me 4 weeks ago, had an option on some South African security which expired in a month and which he desired you to share with him. Your checkbook is locked in my drawer, and you have not asked for the key, so you do not propose to invest your money in that manner.
How absurdly simple.
Quite so. Every problem is absurdly simple when it is explained to you. Bum, 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 bum.
Holmes, why are you so cheerful? You're unemployed, you have no case to solve. Now, normally that produces black moods and the infernal lethargy of the cocaine bottle.
You have not used the logical principles which I constantly expound.
Sherlock Holmes is cheerful, so Sherlock Holmes must have a case.
Pah! See what you can make of that, friend Watson.
Why, Holmes, it's a child's drawing.
Ah, is that your idea?
Well, what else should it be?
Well, that is what a Mr. Hilton Cubitt of Ridlingthorpe Manor, Derbyshire, is anxious to know. That conundrum came by the first post, and he is to follow by the next train. Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Hilton Cubitt.
And this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
Dr. Watson, sir.
How do you do? Do sit down, Mr. Cubitt.
Thank you. So what do you make of it, gentlemen? This thing. Have you had time to study it?
Absurd little figures dancing in a line is a childish prank. Why do you attach importance to something so trivial?
I don't, Mr. Holmes. I never should. No, it's my wife, you see. She...
Go on, Mr. Cubitt. You're with friends.
But it's frightened her almost to death. She says nothing, tries to appear normal, but I've never seen anyone so upset.
In white chalk on a garden seat. It is a precise copy.
It's as exact as I could make it. I did think it might be the stable boy, but the lad denied it. If there's any danger threatening my wife, Mr. Holmes, I'd spend my last penny to protect her.
Do sit down, Mr. Cubitt.
You smoke, Mr. Cubitt?
Yes. No, I won't, thank you.
Tell us about your wife, Mr. Cubitt.
Well, I've always lived in Derbyshire, Ridlingthorpe Manor near Matlock. I was a bachelor and thought I'd remain one until 3 years ago I came down to London on a visit. It's a rare thing for me, but, well, I had a mind to see the Queen's Golden Jubilee. I put up at a boarding house in Russell Square because Parker, he's the vicar of our parish. He was staying there. There was also a young American lady staying there. Patrick was her name, Elsie Patrick. Well, we were both alone and we became friends. Did the sights and that.
At your expense?
Well, certainly not. Are you suggesting...
No, he's not, Mr. Cubitt, not at all.
Was this Miss Elsie Patrick in London merely for the Jubilee?
No. She'd been here some time. She'd tired of America, traveled about, and finally settled in England. Well, not to make a labor of it, before my holiday was over, I was as much in love as any man ever has been. To my surprise and joy, she reciprocated my feelings, and we were married.
Excellent.
Quietly, in a register office. You think I'm mad, Mr. Holmes, taking a wife in such a fashion, knowing nothing about her, or...
Explain, Mr. Cubitt, and come to the point.
Oh, yes. In fact, it was on the very day of our marriage. Nothing could have made me unhappy. Nothing on that day. But now I look back, it was odd. Elsie?
There's something I have to say to you, Hilton.
We don't want to be late, my dear.
I've put it off till now, but I must still give you the chance to change your mind.
Let's see. What in the world?
Let me finish. And what I say, I do mean. I love you dearly. But you know nothing of my life before we met.
I never asked.
One of the things which has made me so fond of you. If you marry me, Hilton, I promise you marry a woman who has nothing personally to be ashamed of. But you'll have to take my word for it and allow me to be silent forever as to my life before we met. If that's too much to ask, then you must go back to your Derbyshire and leave me to the lonely life in which you found me.
It's little enough to ask. And I shall never let you go. These have been the happiest 3 years of my life.
And when did the first cloud cover the sun of this great happiness?
You have a way of putting things, Mr. Holmes.
And you have a way of prevaricating with your answers, Mr. Cubitt.
Well, it was some months ago, May, in fact. There's a bill. There's one for you. An American stamp. Chicago.
Oh.
I hope luncheon's ready. I'm ravenous.
She burned the letter unopened.
Yes. I don't know why.
Of course you don't. America's her past, and the subject of a solemn promise.
Yes, but she's not had an easy hour from that moment. If only she'd trust me. Now, I have every faith in her. You must believe that. Whatever there was in her past, I'm sure it's no fault of hers.
And the dancing men?
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought she was getting over the letter, and then these drawings appeared. I mean, it's just a childish scrawl, but it made everything worse than before. Well, I couldn't just leave it. And it wasn't the sort of thing I could take to the police, for they would have laughed at me. So I've come to you.
Then I will help you with all my heart. Have you seen or heard of any strangers in the neighborhood?
No, I haven't. Some of the farmers take in lodgers, but I've not heard of any lately.
Then I suggest that you return to Derbyshire, Mr. Cubitt, and keep a sharp lookout, and make an exact copy of any fresh dancing men that may appear.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. I will.
And Mr. Cubitt, this letter which started your wife's torment, you are quite certain that it was from the United States?
Yeah, the postmark was Chicago.